Welcome everyone to Haven of Horror. As always, I am Subject 879, and we have Robert. We're showing Robert yet another new movie.
We are. I mean, I already watched this. This is not a blind commentary, but
Ah,
I didn't want to
I
do this
know.
here and you talk over it. It's a musical. I wanted to hear the music.
I don't know. That's for the
That
best.
that's that,
It's still.
look this is gonna be a yearly tradition for us. You've already shown me two musicals. We're gonna do this every year because, as we know, your list of favorite musicals is extensive and long.
That's true. All two of them. Well, three if you count an episode of television? Question mark.
That's true. We'll get to it. But this is one of your favorite Christmas movies. You've been pestering me to watch this
I
for a
have.
year, for almost as
So
long as we've known each other, and we're finally here. Finally
the
doing it.
funniest thing is, did I ever tell you how I discovered this movie?
I don't remember.
Bag Studios showed this to recommended this to me. It is the only time that I've ever seen us agree on a horror picture.
That's awesome.
It's kind of
How
a
long
big
ago
deal.
was this?
Oh
Like
god,
2 years ago?
that was I think back on the Facebook group. It's been a
Oh,
while.
wow.
Yeah,
Because this is a movie. It's like 2017 or 2019 or something, but it's one of
2017.
those smaller movies that has kind of a sporadic release. Wasn't particularly a big movie in the theater, but I guess developed a bit of a cult following.
Yeah, I can't explain it. I watched it and I fell in love with this movie. I have the novelization.
That's cool.
Uh, no, it's a cool picture.
So was this a stage musical turned movie? Did this have
To my
musical
knowledge,
theater
no,
roots?
this was written as a film.
Oh, interesting.
But if anybody knows differently, please let us know in the comments below. So just to get your kind of first impressions out of the way, since you've seen it already, what did you think?
It's pretty good.
Hell
It's a
yeah.
good feel good Christmas movie. If you're a big zombie fan, this is worth checking out. We're gonna talk about Shaun of the Dead a lot while we're watching this.
It's got that same kind of sense of humor.
Yeah, very similar tone,
But
and
I think that's
definitely,
inescapable when you're talking just about like British uh,
mhm,
writing.
yeah, for sure. And the other musical we watched or talked about for the channel was Repo, the Genetic Opera, which you showed me, which I thought was pretty good. I certainly admired it. I think I had a better viewing of it when watching it with you. But while there were some really good, strong performances and some good songs, that's not one I'm gonna go back to a lot. Like I would watch it again. I was just like, yeah, it's pretty good. It's neat. It's cool that it exists. Of course, Rocky Horror Picture Show is one that I like a lot and I've seen several times. But this one, I'm not exactly over the moon about it, but this is something I could see myself throwing on every December around Christmas, which is high praise for a Christmas movie because there are no shortage of those.
Yeah,
And if
I
you like
think I've
Christmas
watched
horror,
this
this is
about
worth checking
every
out.
year. And you're the fourth person I've shown it to, and I have yet to run into anybody who hates it. So I'm on a good run here.
Has
Um,
Austin seen it yet?
yes, he thought it was okay.
Okay.
He also
Yeah,
got jump scared by the Santa at the
that's that's like the most dated 2000s thing about it. It's like, you gotta do the big jump scare, scream at the camera. We were doing that
end.
for a
Don't let
while.
him tell you otherwise. He got jump scared.
That's funny. Have you shown this to our mutual friend Captain Logan yet? Because as you know, he is a big
No,
zombie fan.
no, I would like to just to see what he would think. Maybe I'll message him see if he has time to do it.
I think you should.
Um, how do you sell this? It's a zombie Christmas musical. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll get into it. It's an interesting mix of things.
All right,
Certainly.
Robert, are you ready to join Anna in the apocalypse?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Where'd the time go?
Are you ready to save Christmas, sir?
No. All right. In three, two, one, play.
This is the first surprise. Oh my god, it's an Orion picture.
This is a. This is not
It's a Christmas miracle.
uh, my release because this is who released this? Second Sight, who I believe also did that Dawn of the Dead release that you want. So
Oh,
this is
cool.
the UK, and you
So
can
are we
tell
not seeing?
because it's rated 15.
Oh, are we synced up, or do we need to restart this?
What are you looking at?
Blazing Griffin. So
Yeah,
a
we're
lot
good.
of little production logo now. Anna and the
Yeah, we're good. I think a lot of what sells this for me is this lead actress. Like, I kind of fall in love with this character.
she's amazing and a lot younger than you would have expected for a part like this. Like I looked at like she would have been around like 18 or 19 filming this.
She is on that show, that Apple show Dickinson with Haley Steinfeld.
Yes. Yeah. I knew Haley
I
Steinfeld was in it.
really
I
wanted
never
to like that show, but I just didn't get into
it just
it.
wasn't your thing. Yeah, I've never checked it out. I guess that is the big thing this actress does like after this movie because you know that show has like 3 years or something. And then recently, I still need to see it, but I don't know if you know this. She plays Gilda Radner in the new Saturday Night movie.
Oh, I have not seen that yet.
Yeah, that's a movie I really want to check out at some point. I was like, oh, it's that girl. Okay, cool. Let's
Yeah,
see
I
that
mean,
she's
I'm
doing stuff.
definitely. I was already curious because I like the guy that plays the Ghostbusters guy, Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, yeah. Is that Dylan O'Brien?
Yes,
And people were like, oh, it's such a weird choice, but I've heard he's great in
and that's why I want to see it. I think it is a weird choice, but like he's had the one of the best post Teen Wolf careers.
it. And that's probably true.
Him and Tyler
And then
Hoechlin.
yeah, and then the guy who played the Riddler on Gotham is Chevy Chase in it. I've heard he's amazing.
Oh,
It's amazing in the trailer. So right off that camera, everything, it's like, oh, we're doing Shaun of the Dead. Got it. That's clearly the big inspiration going into this. It doesn't have like that quick stylized editing that like an Edgar Wright or a Sam Raimi does, but that's clearly the main source of inspiration here.
yeah. I think what helps this stand out for me is the music because I think most of it is really good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Uh,
very modern musical. It's very poppy. I will say some of them kind of blend together. You don't get like a ton of variety in style, but they are good.
mhm. Well, and what I like is that most of them have something, at least something to do with the movie thematically. It's not just characters singing what they're feeling in the moment.
Mhm,
There is some of that, of course, but the other thing that helps is I really like this best friend, and I find their relationship really believable.
mhm.
And I kind of feel bad for him.
Yeah, I do like this cast of characters. I like this friend group.
Yeah. No, and what helps because we've seen this how many times, right? Like the guy's in love with the girl, and the girl's not interested. He doesn't
Mhm.
become an asshole about it. Like
Yes.
he is there for her the whole time.
Yeah, I really like the character work in this, and they never fall into that CW bickering stuff you typically get. Like you get a little bit, but they also subvert some tropes. And then of course you get evil, crazy
I love this
teacher.
guy. He is just insane. He's a cartoon character.
Well, look, it's a zombie movie. You got to have the stock human that goes nuts and is more evil than the actual zombies. You have to do this. And I will say, just having seen this once, I think the song that stands out to me is the Hollywood ending one. That one's probably
I
my
like
favorite, but
that
that could
one
change on
because
I
that
give
one
you.
basically tells you the ending of the movie before you get there. My favorite is the one guy's song when he's killing the zombies.
That's a good one too, and you get a nice little callback to it near the end. Australia. Hello, Noah. Merry
Hey,
Christmas.
it's Noah. Happy holidays.
Have you shown him this movie yet?
Yes.
That's really cool.
This song too,
Alien student film.
because this one is just telling you like her character.
Hmm? Yeah, no, like this is a movie I will show people. My oldest niece would probably like this movie. My sister might like this movie. Like this is a movie I'd watch again and actually introduce to people.
Yeah, Noah says this movie is pretty great.
And I can't tell, are they in Slytherin or are those ties blue? But to what you were saying earlier, it's hard. It's weird describing this movie of it's a Christmas zombie musical. That's a lot of weird things to put together. But when you actually sit down and watch it, it clicks. Like, oh, what they're doing is, oh, this is a Christmas coming of age musical that is then interrupted by a zombie movie. That's kind of brilliant. I
No, it's
love that.
great. I think we talked about this with like from Dusk Till Dawn. I love movies that start as one thing and then become another. Predator, From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm struggling
Hmm.
to think of another one at the moment.
Yeah, those are the two.
We don't do that enough.
Mhm. And if I had a big nitpick for this movie, it would be I wish we held off on the zombie reveal just a little bit longer, and I don't know how to fix it because it's what the movie is. But I would love to be able to show this movie to people and have them have no idea it's a zombie movie. And you could still do that. It just makes me wish you held off on that reveal just a little
Noah says this movie is made for a very specific person. Yes, me.
bit. Look, if you hate Christmas, you love horror, and you tolerate some musicals, you're in that pocket.
And I hope that I don't find anyone's voice in this irritating.
No.
That's a trap I find with a lot of musicals. There's at least one person where I'm like, please stop singing.
Hmm.
And what I like about this song is they're all singing the same thing from a like different perspective.
Yeah, and none of the teenagers are really that annoying. You kind, at least
This
by the
one
end of the
here in the
movie, you
blue
kind of like
dress
it.
is the closest I get to like
Yes.
you're a
And
lot.
she's out of the movie. She's out of the movie for a while.
She is, and then the movie still wins me over with her final scene. I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
I feel bad for you.
Yeah, I like the note we leave pretty much all these characters on. And these gags, the tone's very similar to Shaun of the Dead.
Well, it's set up and payoff.
Hmm. So we've talked about Repo and Rocky Horror Picture Show. Has the definitive slasher musical been made yet? And if it
No,
hasn't, I want it.
no, because even those two I wouldn't consider slashers. I can't think of
Right.
a slasher musical. No, horror musicals are just really rare, and I wish it wasn't.
Hmm. Oh, of course, one big one is Evil Dead, which I still haven't seen.
Here's the That's a I don't know if I needed that, but the whole like, oh, you think it's a zombie, but it's just a girl with an inhaler.
Hmm.
You
But
can't
this
say
movie
that.
does do that. This movie does do that Shaun of the Dead thing, though, where a lot of people, they are kind of zombies before they're actually zombies. A little bit of that Romero social commentary thrown in there. But yeah, when these characters are like the friend girl, you said you find kind of a bit much initially. When I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh hi, there's Dead and her boyfriend, very dead, and I called it on most of them.
Foot in mouth.
Yeah, it's adorable seeing teenage characters like care and trying to make a difference, be proactive. I can't relate to this movie. Now, do you think the title of this movie could have been stronger? Because again, Christmas zombie musical. It's really hard to convey all those ideas into one title. So what they settle on is Anna and the Apocalypse. It's
Wait,
fine.
I like the title, but for what you were saying, I might have named it something else. Keep the zombie part hidden, but it's like
Mhm.
all over the marketing and
Right.
the cover.
Well, it does. Oh, this kind of falls into that category of movie that becomes a different movie. Another Christmas scary movie I'd like to talk about on the channel at some point is Better Watch Out,
Oh my
which
god!
that's a movie you can pitch to people in a certain way, and it'll still surprise you with where it goes. Like
What's
that
your
had a
favorite
turn I was
song?
not expecting. Yeah, I like this one.
No, I like this one. I think this is my favorite verse, just because, like I said, emotionally, I think I sympathize more with him because she doesn't mean to, but she will just say things like, "Oh, it's not like you could do anything anyway." And they're just going for it. Like you can't deny there's an energy to this movie.
Oh, totally. And on a pretty low budget. It is impressive what they pull off here. And it does,
And
but
yes,
when you
I
know
do have
it's
this playlist on Spotify.
nice. But when you do know that it's a zombie movie, though, it does change the tone of some of these scenes where you're like, "Oh man, which of these characters aren't going to make it?" You know? That's not a thing you're usually thinking about when you're watching a Christmas movie.
And this one, like I said, I think out of all of them, kind of foreshadows each character's fate.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think other guys probably the weakest character? The
Yes.
that girl. I mean, he's fine. He's just there.
So it's been a while since I've read the book, so I might be phrasing some of this. But I do know he's in the book more, so there's probably other stuff within that got cut.
Mm,
You're talking about the tall, lanky guy that's dating annoying
yeah.
girl, right? Okay.
Yes. Because the kind of jerk guy, like I don't really notice him on first viewing. He's just kind of in the background, and then like halfway through, it's oh, he's one of the main characters. Now to the end, he's not really part of the group for the first half. That's one of my favorite little jokes here. She says "fuck" and kicks the tire. It's just ow. That's a very relatable moment.
So I have this question, like I do with most musicals: is this actually happening? Like, are they actually
Right.
flipping around the cap?
And yeah, it's not actually a problem. It's just funny because it's like, guys, it's a zombie apocalypse. Stop singing. That's the
No,
worst thing you could be doing right now.
um,
They have some fun with it.
no. That's more so just like a gimme. But I always like to think about that. Like I think about that with Repo too. It's like, are you really stopping what you're doing to sing to your?
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like musicals, but sometimes you can't overthink how the reality of the piece works. But as far as big musicals go, have you ever checked out Hamilton?
Mm-mm.
That's
You have
one. I
now
mean,
seen every musical that I have seen. Well,
I mean,
except
not
for
counting
Buffy,
Disney,
not counting the Disney movies, but
no,
like
not counting Disney movies. Yeah.
adult,
Mhm. Hamilton, you should probably give a shot because I just thought about this the other day. Like, oh right, for you. I mean, it is very long and very dense. I'd recommend watching with subtitles just because there's so many lyrics that go by so fast, but go by so fast. But at its core, Hamilton is a story is a friends to enemies story about these two
Mm.
guys, and I'm like, oh right, that's like one of your favorite tropes. Like I that's kind of how I'd sell it to you. It's like that's what the heart of the story is, and of course another factor is how much you know the actual history. But that's what it is. It's a friends to enemies story, and it's kind of a tragedy. It's
I just want to
really
point out
good.
this is a full song on the soundtrack, by the way. This
And
is
then we
not
get to
one that I listened to outside of this movie.
I was gonna say, oh, this is why you like this movie.
Of
Okay.
course.
It's this is a trope we go to a lot, and I'm like, how many schools get away with this? I don't think this is a thing that happens. But maybe but in movie land, sure.
Um, what do you feel about this one?
So I don't that's when you know you're watching a movie.
You mean when it's schoolgirl can get away with singing this song in her school? My
But
favorite
I
joke
also
about this is the grandma just like clapping along.
that is really funny. But granted, in this situation though, it's like I don't know what would happen. Like, would a teacher come on stage and say, "No, stop, get off"? I don't know.
I believe
It's
that
just
teacher, that principal guy would.
clearly. But her look, she reminds. And it's obviously not her. She reminds me of that actress who plays of Randy Meeks' sister in Scream 3, who they brought back for a
Yeah.
cameo. You know how like she's got a similar look.
Who is that?
Like she's also in other movies, like I think one of the hospitals or something.
This actress was just in something too.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this cast at all. Really, there isn't anyone I recognize. Main girl, obviously, I looked up her Wikipedia and saw a couple of the things she's been in.
Yeah, and the main girl I've since watched. She was in another movie, Cat in the Band or something, and I
Hmm.
watched that just out of curiosity because I don't typically watch something just because an actor's in it, but sometimes I'll get curious, like, oh, I wonder what they're like in other things.
Hmm.
Oh, she was just in that Apartment 7A movie. So,
Oh,
downgrade, but
he can't. A friend girl or Anna,
the one singing the.
the one singing. Okay, yeah, that. Well, that's unfortunate. At least she's working. Can you? Will that make your bottom five of the list?
Um, Probably not at this point. Its biggest problem is it's just generic, and then
And
because
the
it's a
first movie again.
yeah, but because it's a prequel, it can't go to those actual places that the because the
Right.
story can't happen yet.
Which does remind me, like, ah, fuck.
Actually,
Over the
no,
next.
it would make my bottom five.
Oh wow. Yeah,
I
over
just
the
felt
next
like I had
couple.
my time wasted, man.
Yeah, that's always unfortunate. I am gonna need to binge watch a few bad horror movies this year to put that list together. Fuck. I did this last year and the same thing happened. How are we in December already? Tell me.
I think you just need to be more prepared.
That's objectively correct. Now, do you think she leads him on at all? Like either, maybe unintentionally?
I think she both leads him on and puts him down. Both of them are unintentional. At the end of the day, she does care about him. She just is either playing ignorant or is ignorant to his feelings until you get that really wonderful scene where she kind of finally puts her foot in the sand.
Mhm. Yeah, because obviously it's a really unfortunate situation for friends to be in, but I do like how that scene is handled when we get to it. It doesn't become a big argument blowout scene.
Yeah. No, that's what really surprised me because when I was first watching this, I was like, okay, so these two have really good chemistry, and they have a dynamic that I've seen before. So this is either going to end with them getting together, or they're going to have a huge blowout, and then the movie's going to pretend that nothing happened, and it doesn't do either of those.
Right.
And I was like,
You
whoa, you mean we
you
can
can.
still do this?
I could have so easily seen the climax of this movie being, oh, they're mad at each other, they're separated, and then she has to go back and save him and apologize, and nope, bypass all that. I like this little gag with advent calendar chocolates. It's dawning. That's deliberate. This is probably my favorite scene of the movie.
Where they're just sitting in the snow talking.
No, I'm ahead of you by a minute.
Oh
I
yes,
think we're way
no,
synced off
yeah, I think because
at
she
this
just
point.
woke up. No, this is very
Okay.
Romero. This is the scene that I show people. Like, if you can get behind this, you will like the rest of this movie.
Right. I mean, it's two things, right? It's the Shaun of the Dead scene when he's walking and doing his morning routine. Of course, everybody's dead and he doesn't notice it because he's completely oblivious. It's that. It's also the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead opening when everything goes to shit and the apocalypse happens in like 5 minutes. It's putting the both of those together and it's great.
Yeah.
And with singing.
No, this might be the best. And like I said, that one song is my favorite. It goes back and forth with this one because I think this is also a great song.
Like I said, I mean, the more I rewatch this movie, the more different songs may stand out to me.
Yeah, and this is just the shot of the dead scene where he's walking down the street.
Yes.
Although this one I think is a little funnier just because there's more going on in the background. Like I think here in a second you're going to see a stroller roll out, like being chased by a zombie. Also, this is just relatable. I walked down the street with my headphones on, having no idea what was happening. That's how I would die in the zombie apocalypse.
While singing and dancing.
Of course, probably this song.
Oh no, it's ironic because the world's gonna die. And having them walk through a cemetery is such a great touch.
Yeah,
Kind of a Night of the Living Dead reference.
this must have been a nightmare to film.
Mhm. I'm sure they obviously made this safe and decorated it properly. But when they're dancing on that like stretch of concrete and it's covered in ice, gives me anxiety. I'm like, oh god, you're gonna slip and break your neck. Don't do that. Don't dance on that, you fools.
He's keeping his word. He's running. He's not doing very well, but he's running. It's right about here the first time I see this where I'm like, oh, these two are going to be like the final two. And spoilers, I was wrong.
Hmm. Yeah, I was very 50-50. I was like, okay, he's gonna be one of our mains at the end, or he's gonna be the big dramatic death. And well, I was right. And this gag with how they decapitate that zombie is so good.
Can you pause for just a second because you're getting even further ahead of me. I'm still on them spinning in the graveyard.
Okay.
Well, it's just nice to see a like mostly healthy friendship depicted on screen again.
Hmm. Yeah, it's refreshing.
Okay, so you're just at the decapitation.
Yeah.
Okay. God damn, you were further ahead than I thought. I love when she's like, "I'm going to turn you over," and he's stabbing him. She just whips it with the bat.
She hits him with her back. It's so good. Has her friend has John screamed yet? Yes. Okay, we should be close enough.
Yeah, because they're about to decapitate him now. Yeah, and then the screaming that is totally the like the big trailer moment.
Also, this is the does the Shaun of the Dead thing where they actually use the Z word. That's
They
surprising.
do, but they also have the. It's not Zeds.
The I think the weirdest one is Romero's Dawn of the Dead, where they say zombie like once and never again for the rest of that movie.
So the thing to keep in mind with that though is that is the first time they're called zombies because in Night of the Living Dead they're ghouls.
Right.
So that's more so. Well, he was playing with an idea, but it hadn't really become the norm
That's true.
yet. I want a zombie head that just makes weird noises.
That'd be good, Fred. Yeah, are you at the burning tree yet?
I'm about to be. Now I am, yeah. So
Okay.
that is the big thing, and I do remember from the book is there is a whole subplot where they actually go back to his house. That's why he has the banana.
Mm.
And one of the people in the house in the school during that subplot is supposed to be his mom, and that makes it a little more tragic what happens to all of
Mm.
them. It's that blonde woman, actually, I believe.
Yeah, and this is also kind of refreshing. Like, annoying girl, is kind of annoying, but she's also like a good girlfriend and
She
not
also, she also
the screw
steps up.
bitch. She does. Look, all we need to do is go to the Winchester, have a pint, and wait for this whole thing to blow over. It'll be fine.
That would be a fascinating double feature, by the way.
Yeah, it would. You could almost sell me on this as just being in the same universe as that. It also feels like in an alternate reality, you know how we've had musicals like the Evil Dead one now, like we could have gotten just a Shaun of the Dead musical at some
That
point, and
should
I
have
think
been
it
the
would have felt
sequel.
maybe like it could have felt very similar to this.
Yeah.
But I do like that this movie actually goes even further with the zombie thing than Shaun of the Dead does, where they do talk frequently about like, you know, culture and fiction, which is a thing we rarely do or acknowledge in
No,
zombie
every zombie
apocalypse stories.
movie is
That's kind of
apparently the first zombie outbreak.
right. Which I mean, I guess is fine. It's just the
It
longer
depends
we
on what it is. By the time you get to The Walking Dead, it's a little silly that apparently zombie fiction doesn't exist. You mean nobody's come up with this idea?
right. But then with stuff like vampires, we don't always know how to play it. Where it's like, okay, does vampire fiction exist, or oh, it does exist, it just happens to be right?
That's a dated joke.
Yeah, I do like this kind of gag though of them speculating about what celebrities have made it,
Yeah.
because
No,
that's not a
this
thing
very
you see a lot in
teenager.
zombie fiction. But that is where my mind goes to with some of these things. It's like, oh yeah, what does Hollywood look like right now during this apocalypse?
I like to
Who's made
imagine
it?
it just looks like I just like to imagine that the only one that survives is Bill Murray.
Oh no. But another thing this does that Shaun of the Dead does is it mostly treats the zombies seriously. Oh, they are a genuine threat, and they
Yeah.
do go all out with the gore and the look and everything. You know, this is an R-rated movie, and I appreciate that.
No, Robert, it's rated 15
Oh,
for
I
strong
forgot.
violence and gore and language.
Yeah, wasn't that Nicholas Holt zombie movie rated PG-13? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Warm bodies.
Warm Bodies. I never saw it.
It was okay. It really does kind of feel like it was just there to cash in on the like Twilight popularity, but
Twilight and Walking Dead. Let's put them together and make a movie. One of the
but
two
I like
popular genres.
Nicholas. I like Nicholas Holt. I like what is her name? Teresa. She's in that I Am Number 4 movie.
Oh.
I could also watch Warm Bodies now and be like, oh, this is awful. What was I talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. Is it based on a book or something? Because I
Yeah.
remember the huge marketing push that I Am Number 4 got, and I saw it. I thought it was pretty good, but this is also like 10 years ago. It probably sucks. I don't remember.
No,
I don't know if
I
I'll
Am
ever watch
Number
that movie
4.
again.
I Am Number 4 is a book, and so is Warm Bodies. A couple of those books, they were all right. I don't know. Young adult fiction kind of just peaks for me with Harry Potter, and like after that,
Right.
I don't
Then
really
it's a
care.
trend. Well, Percy Jackson's the other big one.
Well, Percy Jackson, but that is so different. My problem with young adult fiction is all of it is here's a bunch of teenagers, here's a dystopian government, they're gonna fight it.
Yep. which is why we love slashers, because that is like as opposite of YA as you get.
Because that's like I have this with the Hunger Games. I don't know if we ever talked about this. I really like the first Hunger Games, and then the second, and third one just become every other young adult story ever. I was like, I don't care as much now. And some of that is just like it feels like all of them are chasing Harry Potter because that's what Harry Potter kind of becomes
Yes.
about. Oh, there's this corrupt, this evil person has taken over the government. It's kind of become a dystopian world. Here's your three teenagers with
Hmm.
attitude.
Yeah. Yeah, Hunger Games ended up being kind of a mixed bag. I remember liking the second movie actually, but also I haven't read those books. I'm just going off of the movies. Uh, and then the third one or fourth one is messy. The one idea that I did like though with where Hunger Games goes is at least they did something a little different where the revolution our heroes join to overtake the fascists also ends up being kind of awful and evil and a problem too. Like that's the one idea they had going for it that was kind of neat.
No, I
That, oh, we're
so
replacing one dictator with another.
I really like
Yeah,
the
that's
fact that
kind of
they
interesting.
split up Harry Potter 7 into two parts because you needed it. I would also
Yes.
argue that probably the last three movies needed that.
Mm.
None of the other ones have justified it for me.
Not the book ones at least for sure.
Yeah. My favorite is Divergent because they just never finished.
Oh, that's the most embarrassing one. That was a hit. Those were popular, and then they just stopped.
Did they also release like part one of the final one and then they just didn't release part two?
Yeah, they just didn't make it. Yeah, like if you're gonna do a two-parter, maybe you should shoot them back to back. Just saying. Yeah, that one's no, because remember, no, it's even more embarrassing than that because they announced this too. It was official. Like Divergent, the final chapter, or whatever the fuck, part two, is gonna be a TV movie with a different cast.
Oh my
This was
god.
announced. They didn't end up making it, but that was the plan. How sad would that have been?
That would have been hysterical. I haven't seen any of them. I don't care.
I haven't either.
Out of all of the like young adult dystopian future ones, that seems just like the most like what are we doing?
Yeah.
This little bit, kind of let some of the
Mhm.
characters breathe and adjust to the world has ended.
Yeah. I like this bit a lot. And I like the atmosphere here, right? And then they do a good job selling that it's said again of oh no, this is an apocalypse. The
Uh,
title wasn't lying.
and I like this song that we're about to sing. It is not one that I listen to outside of this, but I like it in the context of the movie.
Hmm.
I do know the one kid that shows up later and has the song about killing zombies. He's like an
Hmm.
extra on The Witcher. That was like the biggest thing he done prior to this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and the actress we were talking about who plays Anna, I think one of her first movie credits is she has a really minor part in Les Miserables,
Oh, okay.
the movie version from a few years before this. So she clearly definitely has like a theater and singing and
She
stuff.
has a wonderful voice.
Hmm?
Her last two songs I think are incredible. Can you just imagine like the Geekvolution reaction? Oh, Cap's doing a commentary on a Christmas zombie music.
You should. he'll do it at some point to break up the '89 Batman '89
Uh,
commentaries. I'm so
hey,
happy he does
I'm
that.
glad he likes that movie.
You'll be on for one of them. That'll be a
If
fun
he asked me, I would do it. Like, I don't like that movie, but I would do it.
one. He needs to figure out variety. This is inside baseball for people who don't know. Our friend on his channel is going to be doing '89 commentaries on the Batman '89 movie next year, and I can't freaking wait.
They need a human voice.
Hmm?
Yeah, this is it's okay. This song. I don't know if I buy that a bunch of teenagers suddenly wake up and is like, oh, technology is bad.
Yeah, that feels like that Romero commentary that's just kind of thrown
Shoehorned
in
in.
there, but not fleshed out super well.
When you said that, all I could think of is the Red Letter Media review on Land of the Dead. Have you seen that one?
Oh, I think I have.
Where
It's
Mike
been a
just like
second.
does a really insane impression of George Romero. He's like, "What's a tweet? Can a zombie be a tweet?"
Yeah, Romero was trying stuff.
He
Look,
was trying.
he was he was speaking to his generation, in the '60s through the '80s, and by the 2000s, it's gonna happen to all of us. We're gonna get a little out of touch.
Can't wait for that Skibbity Toilet movie.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's also awkward with this because this like idea never comes back. That like technology has kind of crippled their ability to.
Yeah, that's not really what this movie's about.
It's like, well, we got to fit another like song in there, get it to 90 minutes.
I like this sequence a lot though, with them using the ball pit to walk through the horde. Like that's kind of creative and fun.
And normally, where we go with this would like annoy me because it's. I think that joke with the P is a little below this movie.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not like the worst thing ever.
it's not Transformers. What one
No.
where there's that like 5 minute sequence of John Tortoro getting pissed on.
It was there to build the character.
No. I mean, he does get the best line in Transformers 2, where he's like,
He
"I
does.
am behind, I am below the enemy scrotum." What the fuck are we doing here?
So, you know, say what you will about those movies. I respect the fuck out of John Turturro.
He
He does
went
not
for
phone
it.
it in.
No, he's the only like watchable parts of that second movie. That first movie's alright. It's just kind of a generic mid 2000s action flick.
Mhm. Yeah, I like the first one. That's a good little bit with the don't talk about my dad, because we're gonna get a different context for that later.
Foreshadowing, yeah. Is he redeemed for you at the end? Because I think he's still kind of an asshole.
Uh, I don't I don't know if well, I think he's redeemed enough for me. If the movie's trying to sell me that these two are gonna be like back together romantically at the end, I don't love that, but you also don't go that far with it, so like it's fine.
And if it wasn't for Harry Potter, I don't think I would know that shag is a British term for sex.
I know I've seen other things where that's popped up a lot, like Ted Lasso. Have you ever checked that out?
I should though.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, like this old lady sitting on the ball castle's like, I don't need her peeing on it.
Is that what you're looking at right now?
Yes.
All right, I'm pausing it.
Why is
We
it
are
getting
way out of
so
sync
hot sync
again.
here?
I don't know.
It's or
I'm
plastic.
I'm in the zombie killing song. Yeah, I think we're watching different cuts.
How long did you
Uh,
say yours was?
just mine's hour 32.
37.
Um,
Well,
God damn it. It's fine. Just tell me when the killing zombies song kicks in,
okay.
and then I'll play it. I'm paused
Which is
right now.
weird because this is just the theatrical cut. Okay, Lisa, just don't talk about my dad.
Yeah, I'm definitely curious to check out the extended cut at some point. I'm curious what bits are added that I'm not seeing.
Yeah.
So has Nick started his song yet?
It just started.
Okay.
What I like about this is the one that most sounds different. Like this is basically
Yes.
a rock song.
Hmm. Yeah, this is the closest you get to that in this one. Which is a thing I like a lot about Hamilton is that does actually have a lot of variety in different types of singing, but you also just gotta go in knowing that it is a lot of rap and hip hop, and you gotta kind of pay attention, or at least watch it with subtitles, because there are a billion lyrics in that just fly by so fast.
This gets stuck in my head every time I watch this movie.
Yeah, and then we do a callback to it at the end, and then the song, then we just cut away, and the song just, I'm like, oh, I thought we were gonna get a reprisal.
I love how stupid their weapons are. Like that one guy's got watermelons. I love how high pitched his voice goes to like contrast the like masculine like testosterone of this song. That's all about fighting
Mhm.
and killing. And this gives you an interesting look at like how he sees this as he's just messing around. Like he doesn't care.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the themes I always find interesting explored in zombie fiction is the character. Those are a lot of the characters I won't say I latch the most interesting. The ones who are like, I get to be somebody now. Now I get to live and do something.
Mhm.
We do that a lot where a character's like, no, before this, like your Negans or whoever,
The governor.
the governor. Man, not to get too sidetracked on Walking Dead, I'm really sad that Governor prequel never happened because I love that actor. I haven't seen him in like anything since that show, but I want to
He's on
because I
Doctor Who
really
for
like
an
him.
episode.
Yeah, that sounds right. I should watch it.
There's a governor prequel novel. I know that much.
Yes, which I've read and really liked.
I just don't trust them with anything else now with Walking Dead. It's all gonna be drawn out or just bad.
Oh, totally. Well, and that's something where that it's been 10 years. Like it's too late for that. And of course, the book like that becomes a whole series that I didn't read. But that first book, I want to say Kirkman wrote or co-wrote, but the book is it's specifically a prequel about the comic book version of the government and his
Who
origin
is
story, which
whew,
oh yeah, very evil.
I don't remember that line of dialogue being there.
I do
Oh,
hope
the
next
Peakwood
year.
people turned into zombies.
No, that's sad. I would like to start covering some Walking Dead stuff next year. Maybe we'll finally
Yeah,
start reviewing the comics.
I'm good. And apparently, this guy, the principal guy, has been on Game of Thrones.
Oh, interesting. Okay, I'll gotta look up and
Hey, Robert, did you know that he's the
okay.
headmaster?
I did know he's the headmaster. Oh my god, that is not who I would have expected at all.
Why? Who is it?
Because he's like he's kind of a priest guy, but also kind of a fighter. But just his vibe in that's so different.
So now you do know somebody from this movie.
I do. Yeah, like he's not like one of the main characters. He's a side character, but he's a side character who is in several seasons.
Mhm.
He does pop up a lot.
Well, that's the thing, right? Just even if it's a character actor, you get somebody who's established and
Hmm.
to play the human bad guy. Although, do you think this movie needs a human bad guy? I think it kind of does, but I could see it going either way.
It feels like again, it's a zombie movie, so it kind of has to go there. I think it's fine.
Yeah,
He's just so over the top. I
I
think it's kind
love
of
his song.
fun. But now we're at this scene, which is really good. Now I forget it. I may have missed the exposition. Is the idea that these are like childhood friends, like they've known each other their whole lives?
I think that is the idea, and this is the scene that I was talking about, where
Mm,
she's just like, "You're my best friend." Yeah, my
that's it.
best
Yeah.
friend, and that's it. Everything you need to know is told by his reaction.
Mm.
And I don't know who that actor is, but he kills it in this scene. And she's still kind of in denial, like, "Oh, you're going to art school." No,
Hmm.
no, they don't. They don't linger on it too long. He's hurting a little bit. She immediately cheers him up. Certain death is so much fun. And here's the obligatory: we got to get rid of the side characters you don't care about.
Yes, yes, great. The setting's fun on the Christmas tree lot. I do appreciate how much fun they have with with the Christmas setting. And it's really funny that they're student and take their instruction and they get wiped out so easily. They weren't prepared.
Be prepared. I just like that this does the Shaun of the Dead thing where he has the like cricket bat on all the
Mhm.
posters. She has a
Yes.
fucking candy cane, but she's lethal with it. Like,
Yes. That is the strongest prop I have ever seen. And it's sharp on like it's a really sharp stake at the end. I get that you need to put it into the ground, but it's are usually designed to impale people. But hey, other guys survived.
oh, I forgot about the zombie like dwarfs. That should be Austin's favorite scene.
But, we've talked a lot about a lot of Christmas horror on the channels on the channel. It's really cool just how much variety there is because there's kind of a lot of them now,
Yeah,
particularly Christmas slasher movies. And now we have a Christmas zombie musical. That's fun. I
we might
think
need a
all I'm
Christmas slasher musical.
yes, I agree on all this. Also, Saw should do a Christmas movie. Fuck it, we're on part 11. That could be neat. What I really want is a good, like, scary Christmas ghost story. And I know you're not a typically a fan of ghost movies or haunting movies, but if done well, I think a
You know,
Christmas ghost story could be really cool. I've seen like a few ghost story movies that I really like. I mean, Haunting of Hill House, you love. They did something like that, but for Christmas. I think that'd be neat.
that'd be so cool.
Also, dude, you're singing the wrong. You're singing the song wrong. No wonder you can't remember all their damn names. It's Dasher and Dancer and Prancer and Vixen, Comet and Cupid, Donner and Blitzen. Get it right, you freaking idiot.
His death hurts every time.
Mhm. And then you're screaming at the TV like, no, chop off his arm. It
We
might work. You got a 50-50 shot.
don't do that. We don't play with that enough. Although
Should
the
I mean we do it
bites
a lot on
turn
Walking Dead.
really fast in this
That's
movie.
true. Yeah, that
No,
like
but I
that's
do
never
like
been
that
discussed.
he gets the heroic like. I don't think I've
Mhm.
ever seen that where somebody uses their body as a shield to get somebody through a horde of zombies.
Yeah.
Is Cupid the reindeer? I don't think so.
Yeah,
That's what I really like about zombie fiction. Is just one mistake and it's over.
mhm.
And this does follow that shot of the dead. It's like this isn't a comedy anymore. Like this is serious, and it earns it.
Yeah, like the way Edgar Wright always pitched Shaun of the Dead was no, no, no. We're not making a comedy. We're making a zombie movie first that is also a romantic comedy. But it
Yeah.
is first and foremost a zombie movie. Like they do take the zombies seriously, which I think kind of threw me off on first viewing just because it wasn't entirely what I expected. But I mean, obviously, love Shaun of the Dead now. It's
Well,
fantastic.
and I like the way that they play this, the after effect. She doesn't dwell on it. She doesn't, fall apart. No, she gets pissed.
Yeah. But yeah, it's really cool that he got like a big self-sacrifice death because I knew there was a shot he was going to be our big emotional death in the movie, but it's really well handled.
The way this is choreographed, like she doesn't become a monster. It's just no, she is pissed. Get out of her way.
Hmm. And then this is really creepy with the and fun with the principal.
Yeah,
Guys, he's evil.
the evil. It made the zombies.
How long do you think Loomis would last in a zombie apocalypse?
He would shoot them all 6 times and run out of ammo.
This is a really twisted, fun concept, though. When he blows the whistle to draw all the zombies to them.
Yeah.
And I forget now. Last year when we each did our top five Christmas horror movies, was this your number one?
Oh god. If it wasn't, then it has to be up there. But I feel bad because I hadn't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night at the time.
Yep.
I probably would still put this first just because I've seen it more. But let's see. My one buddy is
Yeah.
like trying their best to get me to watch Joker 2, and I was like, I don't want to.
You're like, I don't care.
No, because I was just looking in the what Discord I'm in. He's like, uh, oh, I'm going to rewatch Joker 2. I craved real creativity, and this film has that in spades. Enough to scare normal film watchers. Like, what? Yes, this was my number one.
That's cool.
Oh,
I,
wait,
I
I did
think
have Silent Night, Deadly Night on my list. It was number three. I'd agree with
or
that.
was it the remake?
No, this is the original.
Okay. Huh.
But I guess I had seen it. But it was this, then Gremlins, then Silent
Good
Night. I'd agree with that
choices.
ranking. This
Yeah.
is just like the most unhinged fucking.
Yeah, the original Black Christmas is still my favorite, but that's not a fun movie. That's a
That
very
made
grim, dark
that made
movie.
my number four.
Huh? That's cool.
Better Watch Out was number seven.
Yeah,
Honorable mention.
yeah. That
No,
in
that movie,
I
that and Barbarian are the biggest. Like, what the fuck is gonna happen next? I cannot predict where this movie is going. Hey, nothing's gonna stop him now. I don't know if you knew that, but
And I'm a little torn on this choice, only in that I get that we need to be away from these characters for a while to have the mystery of not being sure who's still alive or who's dead. The problem is on first viewing, I do forget some of these people and what's going on. But obviously on repeat viewing, that's not going to be an issue.
That is something that I like in the book is that they're able to kind of flesh out that the school stuff.
Yes, because that does go back to kind of my original point, and my main nitpick is to kind of draw out the big zombie reveal. We could have had another 10 minutes up front and just fleshing out some of these side characters and all their relationships and stuff. Like the stuff with Anna and her dad, I think is pretty good and it hits fine. But I do wish in the beginning we got to see them have more screen time together. And I'm sure in the book you get a lot more insight into their
Well, the cool thing is that
relationship.
the book also plays lip service to some of the songs. Like they find ways to sneak some of the lyrics in as dialogue.
Oh, that's cool. Do you think the book is readable enough that like that could be recommended to people who maybe don't like musicals or maybe wouldn't like this movie?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
And then you get to this stuff with Anna and Nick, where by this point in the movie, I've already forgotten their baggage, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's what the movie's about now. All right,
Why don't you remember things?
because it was like an hour ago. But I do like this bit though when he talks about his dad.
Yeah, it's a good.
Like that stuff works. He said, "Don't let me down, son," and handed me this bat. And what he was gonna say was, "Get me out of here and kill those zombies," but instead I bashed his fucking brains in.
The last thing I said to my dad. I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your fucking brains. Hey Robert, remember The Shining?
I do remember The Shining.
Does that count as a
What?
Christmas movie?
Yes, there's snow.
Is Harry Potter a Christmas movie?
It's Christmas in it. No, I recently watched a review on the Cabin Fever remake, which I haven't watched yet. I don't know if I will.
Oh, you
I don't know if you
will.
remember this bit. Yeah, it's on the list. No, it's not on the list.
No, it's
Fuck,
not on the list, but
you
we will
said not
get
to
to
put on
it.
the list. Ah, fuck. Well, one thing they said though, and I don't know if you remember this, they open with the music that's used in the opening of The Shining.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Why?
Oh, we should watch party that.
that oh god, yeah. Apparently, that's what they do for the opening credits. Is here's the music everyone knows from The Shining.
Oh, that's
Uh,
embarrassing. Out of all the characters, this her love interest is probably the most stock. Like, oh, he's pretending to
guy.
be the bad guy, badass, but like he's really just a teenager.
Mhm.
That's fine.
Well,
It's not
yeah.
about him.
It yeah. It's really hard for me to not compare this friend group to the friend group in Shaun of the Dead, where
Mhm.
you have this girl who reminds me of like the theater kid or the theater girl in that, and then this guy is kind of like the third wheel guy in Shaun of the Dead, except that guy ends up going crazy. Like he has an arc and becomes an asshole.
Oh, see,
But
the
like I said, I
principal
do like these
reminds me
characters.
more of that guy.
Oh sure.
what I like about this movie too is also her coming. Like you said, it's a coming of age story, which I have discovered I'm a
Mm.
sucker for. But her coming of age is almost a bad thing. Like to get there, she has to lose everyone permanently.
Yeah, that is what one place that I respect this movie kind of going for is. I mean, you assume watching it like, okay, either her dad's gonna die or her friend's gonna die. That's gonna be the big emotional, dramatic death. It's kind of a shock when they kill off both of them. So she
Yeah.
really does lose the people she's closest to. Like, yeah, that is kind of sad. But I mean, my favorite side character is probably the other girl, the blonde with the short hair. She's kind of the biggest badass of the group.
She has moments where I really like her, and then other moments where she kind of fades into the background for me.
Mhm.
Like when she just picks up the dildo, and I'm like, how? Why is that there? What is the story of that getting confiscated?
It's eh,
Don't take that to school.
I'm pretty sure that belonged to a teacher.
That's
I'm
even worse. Why would you take that to school?
it's hey man, I wouldn't know. So what part are you at right now?
Um, he is leaving the principal's office or whoever, wherever this stuff is.
I'm gonna pause for another minute. So other girl and her boyfriend haven't gotten bit yet.
No, they're just
Okay.
attempting to crawl out.
And again, it's kind of predictable because I did not expect them to make it, but I still like the way we take these characters out, them just accepting their fate and
No,
being
they
together.
remember. They make it properly emotional.
Hmm.
It is weird that the zombies just. Oh wait, no, it's not. I remember now.
This movie plays very fast and loose with how well the zombies can hear or see. Sometimes they're just completely oblivious to the people and are only triggered by noise.
Yeah.
But it's a comedy, so it's fine.
Well, and I like that. At least she gets to end up with her boyfriend for basically eternity as a corpse. But
Yeah, it's something. This does do that like early Romero thing that does get usually kind of lost in zombie fiction after that trilogy, though, is the idea of the lingering bits of humanity in your zombie form. You know, that's a zombie. That's what a Dawn of the Dead's about. Is that they're drawn to the mall because they remember it. It was important to them. Like those little bits of humanity, and in which Shaun of the Dead has fun with too. And then when you get to Walking Dead and a lot of other modern zombie stuff, it's like, no, you are just dead, and you are now a different thing. You are a different being. I find that distinction kind of interesting. But
okay,
that,
so they're kissing now because they're gonna turn.
okay.
And she gets bit in, like the worst possible place too, on her back.
Yep, that's the. There's no going back from that.
Ah,
But this version of zombies, though, It's arguably sadder if you're just living forever in this zombie form, just with just like that tiny scrap of humanity left. Like that's arguably worse.
Yeah,
At least in The Walking Dead, I mean, you're just dead. Like you're gone.
you're all dead.
You're all dead.
No, the Walking Dead one is weird because yeah, you're right. They are basically shells of a corpse, but then they want to play it the other way with like the Herschel stuff. Where he's like, oh, they could be cured one day. Okay, their limbs are rotting off. How do you cure that?
Right.
I love this song.
This is a good one.
This is kind of her superhero moment.
Hmm.
And I also have a reading of like she's she's kind of on a suicide mission here. She doesn't care anymore.
Hmm. And
Her and
I do
her
think this,
candy cake.
and I do think though this is where the movie being a musical is in its advantage, where you get to let her be this acrobatic and skilled killing them and not have to explain it. Like we don't have to work that into her background that like she's been trained how to fight. It's like no, it's we've seen these people
Plus,
dance and be choreographed and stuff throughout the whole movie. Now they're
and,
just
and
applying that to killing zombies.
did you have this thought? This is the hero and the villain monologue, but in a musical.
Yes, it's really cool. And maybe one day we'll check out that Spider-Man musical.
Oh god.
That is the long, sad history of that development is for the ages. But maybe they'll do. Maybe Sony will do a movie version and finally get it right. That is possible. If Craven's a misfire, that's what they need. They need to go back to Spider-Man: Turn Off the Dark and figure it out. Now, how do you feel about this scene coming up when they almost spare him? That's a little tropey with the he's not worth it.
It's fine because you get the payoff for for the
Hmm.
star, and he gets a fun. He gets you gotta have the traditional like somebody falls into a crowd of
Yes.
zombies
Oh
and
no, like
gets
well, it's because it's a movie, karma works out and he still gets the horrible drawn out death that the audience wants. But the heroes are gonna let him live, and it's like, no, you can kill him. It's all your friends are dead. It's fine.
oh, he
Sometimes
says
murder's
pleb,
fine.
you roly poly pig faced pleb. What? So I don't mind it because it's less about sparing. It's more like I don't need to go that far. Like that's not who I am.
Mhm.
You don't buy the dad would do that. He's not crazy.
And then I'm sure you had this thought. It's oh, this ending's very similar to the ending of Repo, the other musical you like. It's
Yeah, it's
the,
we're
the
back on an
dad dying
opera.
and letting his daughter go and her coming of
Right
age.
down to
It's
the point we're on a
really misconception.
stage.
Yes.
Apparently, I just have a type. Okay,
Yeah, you have a very specific
there's two things
formula
I need
that you
from a musical: the dad has to die, and it has to end on a stage.
they do both perform the scene well. Again, I just wish they had a bit more screen time in the first act and that we got to kind of build up there.
Hmm.
Like, sure, and this is probably better in the book. That's just the most fortunate thing about the story in this is we're just told a lot of their history as
I would
father
have
and
cut
daughter.
that technology
Like,
song and maybe done another song in the first act that like
yeah,
builds them up.
because there's a lot of exposition in the middle about her mom dying and her and her dad drifting and stuff. We're told a lot more of that than we really get to see it.
I really want to see Ella Hunt. That's who plays Anna in like bigger stuff. One day
Yeah,
I'll go
for
back
sure.
and finish um,
Dickinson.
Dickinson. It's only 3 seasons.
That's,
Oh no, she's in those Horizon movies.
yeah, that was the other thing. Yeah, they're not gonna finish those. She'll be fine.
They're filming part 3.
They'll probably not get to part 4.
I didn't know there was supposed to be a part 4. I thought it was supposed to be a
Oh
trilogy.
yeah, no, it's a 4-part epic, dude.
Oh.
Part 2 was supposed to come out this year, and then they pulled it and are gonna dump it on streaming at some.
Oh, you're right. Chapter 4 is in active development. I just heard the first one was boring.
Oh, you watch? I heard it was really dull.
No, I
I
haven't
still haven't
watched it.
seen
The
it.
only person I know that's seen it's Connor.
Oh yeah, and he hates
Yeah, and
it.
you have to sell me really hard on a western in the first place, let alone an American
And
saga that's going to be like 4 films.
you mean you need to get sold on a 3-hour epic that's chapter one of
This
4?
this is, I think, her best vocal work in the entire movie.
This is great. It does a really good job at making you wonder, like, oh, how nihilistic are we gonna go? Because it does feel like it could go to that Night of the Living Dead place where nobody makes it. Like, this is surprisingly heavy,
Yeah,
and like this bit is very Romero with the couple who are now dead or zombies, but their hands touch. Like, there's just still like that tiny bit of them in there. And then the payoff with her friend with the sweater is really funny. I like that gag a lot.
it's funny and sad.
It is. Yeah, like he's all alone. That's he. That's a pretty depressing ending.
Yeah,
It,
like
it's
that's what I was talking about with Hollywood ending. Is this is not like the typical movie ending, and
mhm.
like it's a floppy ending, I guess, for Anna, but also it's not like where are they gonna go?
it's well, it's usually because you tend to like bad endings in horror movies, and
Mhm.
that's very selective for me. You really got to earn it. But Dawn of the Dead, the original, hits that sweet spot where it's very ambiguous, and some of the characters you like survive, but it's still their odds aren't good.
Yeah,
Those endings tend to really work for me, and this ending's very Dawn of the Dead.
similar.
It's just a couple
Thank
of
God it's
just
not the
three survivors.
original ending of Dawn of the Dead.
No, God, and I mean, and that certainly would have been interesting, but my problem with that, the original ending they shot, is it's just kind of too the first movie again. Like, it's too nihilistic.
You mean
I,
it's
I I
Cabin
I prefer what
Fever?
they reached. Now that this shots the very Edgar Wright with all the quick cuts and close ups of them getting into the car.
Cinematography on that scene where you check in with Zombie John.
Hmm. And it's also not a thing we do in a lot of zombie movies either, where everybody dies, and they're zombies. We don't. do like we talk about Nick putting his father down, but we don't see that. That's kind of surprising that we don't go there like with her and her dad. Like, no, they're zombies now. It's kind of sad, you
Mm.
know. Like in Shaun of the Dead, the big emotional scene is Shaun having to shoot his mother when she becomes a zombie. We don't really do that here. We just let our dead characters be zombies, and it's very sad. Just something that
Just
stood out to me.
imagine that's what they're gonna go do is they're gonna go find John and her dad after this and make sure to put them down. Teddy,
Give me
musical zombie movie be musical. That is true. It is a musical. Leave it to you to come in 2 minutes
well, you
before
made
we
it
wrap
to the
up.
end. Now, this final bit's pretty good with the CGI Merry Christmas sign coming in front of the camera. If T-Rex in the middle would be perfect. That's all it's
That's
missing.
true.
And then we get
Zombie
the
dinosaurs. Make it
zombie.
happen, Hollywood.
Yes, please,
You know how
let's
screwed
go.
everyone would be? Shoot it in the head. I can't. It doesn't go through.
That's what blows. Is if that movie does exist, it's probably made by like the Sharknado people. No, I want a real, I want a real movie of zombie
Come
dinosaurs.
on,
Let's make it.
Universal. You're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Do it.
Yeah, we're on by Jurassic World 10 or whatever the fuck we're on. Just do zombie dinosaurs. It's fine. But it's really funny. I love this camera. It's really funny that that zombie jump scare got awesome. Oh, I wish I saw that.
Yeah.
It's
No.
so good. So
Oh,
many
Teddy says
movies.
he's been watching the whole time. It just now made that connection.
Well, thank you. But God, like there are so many 2000s era horror movies, or like for the last shot, it's like there's somebody screaming at you in
Yeah.
the camera. That's very hit or miss for me.
I
But
don't
at
know
least
if you
he's
need.
dressed like Santa. At
I
least
don't know
he's
if you
dressed
needed
like
the
Santa.
Santa.
It has that going for it. At least it's zombie Santa. That's kind of fun.
I actually kind of like the credit song.
Oh yeah, it's great.
It's
And
not too
I
bad.
love the visuals. Very old fashioned Christmas.
Yeah. What else this guy, the people who made this have made? Oh, I also want to see that Robot Overlords movie because apparently she's in it too.
Oh.
That's from the people who did. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought that was from the same people who did Psycho Gorman.
And fuck, now I'm annoyed though that I own this movie, but it's the theatrical cut. You have to fucking buy the extended cut separately at some point. Because when I went to YouTube to rent this, okay, so the rental for this movie on YouTube was $6. Purchasing it
What?
was $8.
You should
So I
just went to
said, "Fuck it," and I
Voodoo.
bought the movie. I should have, but I was on a time crunch. I was like, "Fuck it."
Oh
That's
no! This
what.
director's next movie is called Dear David. Is a 2023 American supernatural horror film directed by John McPhail. Or how to say it. That's who directed Alien the Apocalypse. Based on Adam Ellis's Twitter thread of the same name. Oh my god. Who the hell is Adam Ellis and why are we making movies based on his Twitter?
That's what we have AI for. You don't need
The
somebody to
film
write that.
follows BuzzFeed employee. Oh, it's based that it is based on an employee of BuzzFeed's Twitter feed.
Ooh,
The film
man.
follows BuzzFeed employee Ellis as his attempts to retaliate against online trolls results in a haunting from a demon possessed spirit.
We'll do it on the channel.
Oh my god, what are we
We should
doing?
have done that as a double feature.
Oh, I'd rather die. There aren't enough good horror full blown musicals. You should watch this one then, Teddy, if you haven't seen it.
Yeah, there's this Repo, the Genetic Opera, Rocky Horror Picture Show, and Evil Dead the Musical.
Yep,
If you
and
could
three of those
find it.
are peak, and one of them is. I'll let you decide which is which.
But Marvel
Um,
Zombies, that should be a musical. Make
that
that Disney.
have you seen Creature Commandos yet?
I still haven't.
It's
I still
very
need to
good.
start it. I'm. I don't know if Austin. I feel really bad for Austin.
He's watching it now.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
No, I felt bad too. I was like, I almost offered to like. I'll tell you later. I can't. I can't say
Yeah.
that on stream. All right. Well, that has been Anna and the Apocalypse. For those who are not aware, we have moved gaming streams to Thursdays because Robert's very grumpy. Um, so that is going to be all we're doing
That's
today.
fair.
Tomorrow we will be back for The Blob and The Blob on our remake series. Oh, speaking of, what was it you wanted me to see if it was on the list?
Oh, Silent Night. I think it's probably on there. I just don't remember off the top of my head.
I do not see it, so I will add it.
Oh, cool. And then after the blob, we'll obviously delete that and delete anything else we have forgotten.
I've been deleting them
I,
as I
I do.
go.
All right, cool. Yeah, looking forward to that. That'll be a fun. Have you watched the original The Blob yet?
No, I'm not sure if I'm going to watch it beforehand or just go in because I can't imagine that's like, oh, I need to.
Yeah, that's probably the right call. Not to show my hand too much, but yeah, I can guide you through. It's you, you've seen the more interesting, fleshed out version of it
Yeah.
already. But that's tomorrow, and then Sunday's Resident Evil 2. So check back in for that.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're going to get out of here. Thanks, Teddy, for hanging out. We will see you guys tomorrow with The Blob and The Blob.